So hi boys and girls, क्या हाल चाल है? This is your boy Musa Khana and welcome to a quick video on how you can make thousands of dollars through appointment setting and through this new skill that everybody's been talking about, right? Now, there's going to be no fluff. I'm going to be raw and authentic as much as possible because that's the genre of my whole YouTube, this channel, and just my personality. And इसमें मैं कोई चीज़ आपसे नहीं छिपाऊंगा. Now, when I say thousands of dollars, let me show you a few examples of my students who make thousands of dollars through it, right? सबसे पहले अगर हम आहद की example ले, he put up a win in our community which says yesterday got a client for appointment setting and it's around $1,000 to $2,000 and that was just a retainer and that was aside from the commission, right? Now there was another student of mine, Ahmed Saeed, who said I landed a $2,000 client plus commission of the percentage of the sales the guy makes और जो वो सेल करता है $15,000 का उसकी कोर्स है और उसकी कम्युनिटी है, राइट? That ticket. Then there was Imza who got $500 base plus 15% commission and she said कि उसकी base भी बढ़ जाएगी अगर वो एक महीने काम करेगी to $1,000 month retainer. Now, how is this even possible? How are these kids from Pakistan, from India, or even from United States who are students are making this much money? We're going to be talking about that exact same thing in this very video. और मैं इसको 7-step series में break down करूँगा how we're going to do it, right? So I have my whiteboard behind me and this whiteboard, me and this marker is going to be a gateway of success for you to make $3,000 to $5,000 per month and I'm not shitting you. Watch this video till the end and I promise you on my life, on everything holy, you're going to get a lot of value out of it and you're going to get actionable steps that you can take today to start your journey of appointment setting and making $3,000 to $5,000 per month, and I'll explain you each and every step. Now I have my notes over here in front of me just for the topics that I'm going to go over. So the first thing we're going to go over is problem awareness, ठीक है? The second thing we're going to go over is solution intro, basically how you're going to approach the solution to that problem. The third thing we're going to go over is how it works in detail. Okay? The fourth thing we're going to go over is the income breakdown. Basically how you're going to get money out of this, right? Income breakdown. Pardon my writing. I try my very best, but was not the best writer. I think too much when I'm writing, right? The perfect excuse. And then the fifth one is getting started, the actionable items, right? How are you going to get started? The exact steps, and then common mistakes to avoid, which is the sixth topic, okay? And then the seventh one is gonna be hopefully this is clear to you. Let me just, and then the last one is going to be call to action, basically your exact steps after that, okay? So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? So let's dive right into the problem awareness, which is the most important thing, right? So let's break it down. So first, let me ask you this, right? How many of you who are watching right now are doing 9 to 5, okay? Or you're doing some part-time job right now, okay? Or you are a student working in a retail shop, ठीक है? कोई भी रिटेल दुकान हो सकती है. यहाँ पे बहुत से बच्चे जो बाहर आते हैं, इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं, और even some in Pakistan, they're working in little retail shops. And how many of you have your income, what do I mean by income capped? Basically what I mean by that is this is you, right? This is your boss, ठीक है? And your boss will produce your income, right? Now, the thing with jobs is, and I was there as well, I used to work at Bank of America. I don't know, मेरा वो card का गया, मैं आपको दिखा देता मेरे Bank of America का card. Let me look it up and show you because some people, you know, they need proofs for everything, and I am a man of proofs, and I will show you that as well. कहाँ है मेरे बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका का कार्ड? मैंने उठा के फेंक तो नहीं दिया. दिस इज माई बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका कार्ड, ठीक है? माई एम्प्लॉय कार्ड. आई वॉज अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर देयर एट बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका एंड आई नो ईच एंड एवरीथिंग अबाउट 9 to 5 जॉब. आई वर्क देयर फॉर 2.5 years, ठीक है? एंड आई ऑल्सो हैड अ प्रमोशन. आई वॉज एन एनालिस्ट, a technology analyst first, and then I was promoted to a software engineer or infrastructure engineer, if you will, right? So बेसिकली 9 to 5 में होता क्या है कि आपका इनपुट जितना मर्जी ज्यादा हो, द इनकम इज डिपेंडेंट अपॉन योर बॉस, राइट? So no matter what amount of input you give, right, तुमने projects handle कर लिए, जिरा पे तुम tickets डाली जा रहे हो, एक project से दूसरे project के बाद you're moving and you're doing all the work that is necessary. Your boss sees it, right, and is like, very nice work. But then it's not even in your boss's control because तुम्हारे boss का भी boss है जिस company के अंदर वो काम कर रहा है, and your income is gonna be the same fixed income, and it's never gonna go up until and unless you go through performance reviews, right, which are what after every 6 months, ठीक है, they see you have to write पूरी एक आप भी तीन को लिख के बतानी पड़ती है कि why you deserve, you know, a raise or what have you done. Like honestly speaking, you are already doing the work. Now you have to explain in a whole thesis of how your work is benefiting the company and how you're trying to be even better, right? So you're just coming from a position of neediness from the start when you work in a 9 to 5, right? And what happens is no matter how much input you give to your job, the max that you're gonna be increasing is, let's say performance review हुआ, उन्होंने आपकी जो income है उसको 3% बढ़ा दिया, ठीक है, 3% income बढ़ा दिया. let's say आपकी job पे आपको मिल रहे हैं, क्योंकि मैं मुझे देसी आवाम देखती तो मैं रुपीस में बात कर लेता हूँ. let's say आपको 1 लाख का 3%, आपने इसको इंक्रीज करवा लिया बॉस से, 3,000 रुपया सिर्फ आपकी सैलरी बढ़ेगी, ठीक है. नाउ 1 लाख और 3,000 रुपया आपको सिर्फ इंक्रीज हुआ है इन योर सैलरी, which is next to nothing, right? It's literally nothing. But then to get to that 3,000 rupees like extra, you had to go through all these performance reviews and all this shit. And like, no matter how hard you work or a good employee you are, you're not adding any valuable thing to your skill set, right? You're in that job bubble and nothing's really happening no matter what you do, because it's not even in your boss's control at the time or your manager, right? It's a whole ecosystem that you're part of, and Mirijan, you're just another brick in the wall. You have heard of that song, right, from Pink Floyd? It's not just for students who are going to school, right? The whole schooling system that was created by the Rockefeller. It's the job system as well. Remember uska famous quote hai, we don't want a nation of thinkers, we want a nation of workers, right? Now इस सारी situation से होता क्या है नतीजा, ठीक है, आप अपनी जॉब से जितनी भी इनकम आती है ना उसके अराउंड अपने खर्चे बना लेते हो. लेट्स से 1 लाख रुपया ही है, 1 लाख में आपका रेंट आ जाएगा, आपकी कार अगर आप अफोर्ड भी कर सकते हो, आपकी ग्रोसरीज, ठीक है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, यूटिलिटीज वगैरह सारा कुछ, एंड देन थोड़ा फिर टैक्स भी इसमें से जाएगा, एंड बचा के आपको पेनीज में आएगी चीज, ठीक है. Now the problem is, since you're so used to this, you don't want to lose this, you are trapped inside this box, right? You're trapped inside. This is you who is trapped helplessly inside that box, and no matter how hard you work, the force of the nature of the 9 to 5, right, it's pushing back twice as hard, and you can never really grow much over there. Yes, you can be an entrepreneur, right? You rise to a manager rank, to a CEO rank, but that takes away a lot of your productive years where you could have built a really good service-based business, or where you could have worked hard as something else and gotten an instant raise. And this is something we're going to talk about, right? One thing, and I'm not saying कि जो आपकी 9 to 5 है, it's bad by any means, right? It's not bad. I think it's a perfect segue for you to collect money, right, or have enough money for investment, or sometimes not even for investment, sometimes for living, so you can find ways to make money through your service skills, where तुम्हें तुम्हारी सर्विस का real time में input नजर आएगा. And this is where I come in, and this is where I'm going to help you. Now we are done with the phase of problem identifying, because this is the problem that we are identifying within you, right? So मैंने जब शुरू में कहा था ना कि आपको मार्केट समझनी पड़ती, नीश समझनी पड़ती, सबसे पहली बात तो आपको अपनी प्रॉब्लम समझनी पड़ती है, राइट? एंड दिस इज समथिंग यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, यू नीड टू रीशेप योर माइंडसेट बिफोर यू इवन गो इन दिस. नाउ the solution to your problem is appointment setting. And what do I mean by appointment setting? I'm going to explain it as ताकि 5 साल का बच्चा भी समझ जाए, ठीक है? Appointment setting is just you simply booking appointments or qualified appointments for people who run a certain business And then if that appointment gets booked and it's closed, you get a certain percentage out of that, right?
So for example, आजकल का ज़माना is full of coaches, consultants, and all of them are using social media, right? For example, एक coach है, ठीक है, who has followers around 50,000, right, on their Instagram, their Facebook, LinkedIn, yada yada yada, right? And most of the time these coaches have very high ticket communities. By high ticket, I mean that they are running communities that are worth $10,000, right, or worth $3,000. It really depends, right? You know, a lot of the fitness coaches, they have programs from $3,000 to $5,000. Now, there are a lot of people who want their services, right? Now, think about this. Any coach that has 50 to 100,000 followers, do you realistically believe they can handle all the inbound leads that are coming into their chat? ठीक है, inbound leads का मतलब है, let's say they put up a story, they put up a call to action अपना रखते हैं अपनी Instagram reel के ऊपर, और वो कहते हैं कि if you write this word, you know, I'm gonna talk to you, I'm gonna send you a freebie. And whenever somebody comes into the message, do you actually believe that they can handle all of these messages all together, right? They cannot, right? Simple answer is no, they cannot, because उन्होंने सिर्फ इस चीज को बेचना थोड़ी है, बेचना सिर्फ गोल नहीं है. That's just the tip of the iceberg, right? That's just, business is money in. You always have to remember that business is money in first, and once the money is in, the next step is onboarding. Onboarding के बाद है clients की actual fulfillment, right? They need to take calls, right? They need to make content so they can bring in more people, right? They need to handle sales. They need to handle their team. I mean, and then they have their personal lives as well, right? Which takes a big chunk of their day. So how do you think they're going to handle all of these things? This is where you, the appointment setters, come in. Now, appointment setting सुन के आपको लगेगा कि ये बड़ा simple है वगैरह. While it's simple, but you still need to own your skills to be a really good appointment setter. Now, you as an appointment setter are a bridge that will connect your client, जो coach है तुम्हारा, उसको तुम connect कर रहे हो अपने potential prospect के साथ, right? तो कोई अगर let's say ये तुम्हारा coach है, and coach के पास एक prospect आता है उनके DM में, right? You are this middle bridge. You are the bridge that is, qualifying these prospects and then putting them onto the calendar of this coach, right? So this qualification process is very important. And I will tell you something. AI can be many things, but AI cannot still replace this bridge between, right? Because people, they want to talk to a real human being. That is very important, because if they're willing to invest big money, if they're coming from a big pain point, they want to talk to real human before they can fully invest in going forward. Because obviously, जो भी लोग आते हैं, वो एक बड़े pain point से आते हैं. For example, अगर fitness coach है, right? People are coming because they're in pain, right? They want to have their problem solved. But before they get even on the call, they would need to know if they're the right fit, or if they can, actually afford the investment and whatnot. Or you also need to find, right, as the bridge, that if they are a quality lead, because there are a lot of people who are time wasters, right? Time wasters. And we need to funnel those people out. And by funneling, I mean unko chhan ke tum bahar nikal do, and that is going to be your job, right? So it's just a 4-step series that you need to do, right? Really, really simple. And this is how you're going to be doing it, right? Basically, unke messages pe koi banda aata hai, ठीक है, एक इनबाउंड लीड आती है, ठीक है, क्लाइंट ने लगाया कंटेंट से लोगों ने किया फॉलो, ठीक है, फॉलो के बाद लोग आए उनके डीएम्स में, ठीक है, एंड इट कुड बी इन इंस्टा, फेसबुक, लिंक्डइन, इवन व्हाट्सएप. दैट इज स्टेप 1. सो समबडी कम्स इन द डीएम्स, राइट? दैट इज step 1. Then step 2 is you start the qualification process. You talk to the clients, right? And you will be the one who will be replying to their questions and showing interest in their problem, right? That is very important. You always need to highlight the pain point, the problem that they come for. You're not going to be talking about the features. I will talk about this, but anyways, step 3 is you chat with them like a friend, right?
like someone who really needs to solve their problem, right? Who really, really wants to help them out. And you're not even thinking about closing them. You're not even thinking about the money. You're just a person who is genuinely concerned, मेरे spelling गलत है, genuinely concerned about helping the prospect, right? And then once you have gone through enough conversation, your next step would be to get them on the calendar for a demo call with the coach. Now, one thing I need to tell you that it's not only with the coaches, it's with almost a lot of the industry, right? So coaches, consultants के अलावा a lot of agencies, right? जो कि बड़े businesses को help करती हैं. Some people who are selling SaaS products, right? Or white label products, ठीक है? जो वो companies को sell कर रहे हैं, even they're making content. These marketing agencies, what do? They're targeting big businesses, right? So they make content around that, or sometimes they're running ads. और ads से भी जब कोई inbound lead आती है, you are the one who's going to be on that bridge, who's going to hold their hand and take him to the other side. Now, let me show you actually, अभी तो मैंने theory में बात की, let me show you actually how it's going to be practical, right? So let's talk about practical stuff. And now we're on section 3 of how it works, right? How it works. Now, what you're going to be doing is, let me give you a real example, right? So what you're going to be doing is, let's say there's a business coach. And what does a business coach do? Well, he helps people start their online business, right? Start their online business. This is just one example, theek hai? And they have, let's say, 80,000 followers, theek hai? 80,000 followers. And I'll tell you something, it doesn't even have to be 80,000 followers. People sometimes could be 10,000, 20,000 follower people, and they also get very high quality leads, and they also make a bank. I'm telling you, what you see in social media, like you think a person who is making मतलब फारे कंटेंट बना रहा है, ठीक है, पैरोडीज बना रहा है और आपको लगता है उसके मिलियन 2 मिलियन फॉलोअर्स है, बहुत अमीर है. Some of the people with only 5,000 followers are making way more than those people. So this is the world of social media that you need to understand. But let's say every day through this guy's content for 80,000 followers, this is just a hypothetical, right? He is getting, or she is getting 20 to 30 DMs per day. Now this coach, right, he cannot handle all of these people. Even if it's 20 to 30, obviously it's way more than that, but let's say it's this number, he cannot handle it, right? जैसे मैंने कहा, इनकी और भी बहुत ज़्यादा responsibilities होती हैं. So now he hires you. You're gonna be that bridge. Now what you're gonna be doing is, let's say अब एक बंदा आता है अपनी problem को discuss करते हुए, ठीक है? वो कहता है भाई, hi, I want to learn how to make money online. I've tried this and this method, वगैरह, doesn't work out, वगैरह वगैरह. Maybe तुम्हें कोई story बता देता है. Then in the DMs, you're gonna be first starting to reply with something like, what are you struggling with on the day-to-day basis? Usually कोई आपको सीधा आके ये नहीं कहेगा. Maybe आपने कोई keyword आपके जो coach हैं उसने रखा हो कि reply with coach or reply with guide, and I'm gonna answer in your DMs. And you start with, what are your struggles on the day-to-day basis, right? Or you can ask them, what's your goal, theek hai? Or you can ask them, when do you want to achieve this, right? Or how soon do you want this result to be achieved, right? So step by step, you can ask them these questions. Now, once you ask them, what you're doing underneath is you're building trust. And you are highlighting the pain that they're going through, because highlighting the pain is the most important part, and it's not evil by any means, because obviously if you don't fix that, then nobody else will, right? So you're coming from a place of help, right? So you're building trust and you're understanding the problem deeply, theek hai? And once they talk enough with you, right, you don't even want to drag it too much. I would say if you want to book them an appointment, don't take it more than a day of messaging them. To be very honest with you, if they're actively messaging you, I would try to close them there and then, right? Once you've gone through these questions, once you highlighted the pain enough, you're not going to be the one who's going to be talking about the program and everything and, you know, all the intricacies and nuances, right? You're going to be just the one who understand their problem, and you can tell them that this is the person who is going to help you achieve all your dreams, right? And then after that, you're going to tell them, okay, hey, I can get you on a quick call with coach, ठीक है, जो भी coach का नाम होगा, name, ठीक है, and उसके बाद you're going to say, he will give you a personalized plan that will solve your problem, or to get started on your problem, right? And then you can ask them, like, you should be talking to them like you've already booked them on a call. So you'll be like, our coach's availability is these days and we will get you scheduled for this day. Let's say आप Wednesday को बात कर रहे हो, how does tomorrow at this time sound? ठीक है, like 3 p.m. And if they say we're busy with this, with that, ठीक है, you'll be like, okay, what time works the best for you, something like that. And eventually, once you're coming from a place where you're saying, okay, you're already done, you're ready, we're ready to take you on the calls, and you discuss the time and you book them, right? Once you book them and connect that call with your coach, that's appointment setting, right? That is appointment setting in its core. ठीक है? Now, a big plus is if you're also helping to close that deal without your coach interfering. If you do that, let's say आप किसी बंदे के साथ काम कर लेते हो जहां पे आप अपॉइंटमेंट सेट करो और आपके साथ दूसरा बंदा है उनको कॉल लेके क्लोज करे, then you can make a heck lot of money. But let's just talk about money. It's simple as that. Now, since we're talking about money, let's go to the chapter 4, which is income breakdown, right? Simple as that. Income breakdown. मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि how you're gonna be making $3,000 to $5,000, right? So we're on chapter 4 or section 4, income breakdown. Now, there are two ways for income, right? One is just purely commission. And this one is more easier to get because they have nothing to lose when they hire you, right? You only get paid once they get paid, right? So let's say अगर कोई appointment तुमने book की और वो close हो जाती है, you get a certain commission out of that, right? And the industry standard is usually 5 to 15%. ठीक है? Usually I would say 5 to 10% is the golden number depending on how big is their ticket. So $3,000 की अगर उनकी ticket है, right, for the coaching program, you are making, let's say you're making 10%, right? That is $300 just for booking that damn client, right? अगर तुम्हारा एक कोच उसको क्लोज कर लेता है और लेट्स से तुम्हारे कोच ने सेल्स रेप हायर किया हुआ है और वो सेल्स रेप उसको क्लोज कर लेता है, you make 10% out of that, right? Now, I would say appointment setting की खाली ना वो शायद तुम्हें दे 5%, but if you're closing, you're gonna get 10%. But once you're good at appointment setting, the next thing you're gonna be also doing is closing them there. And you know, once your coach like your work, he's gonna give you the permission to do that as well. I've seen it time and time again, and even I have done that too before, right? So that is 300, right? Now imagine आपके कोच के जिसके 80,000 फॉलोअर्स हैं, वो आराम से आपकी सर्विसेज के और आप जितना उसका टाइम फ्री कर रहे हो, आप वो आराम से एक मंथ के अंदर 10 क्लाइंट्स अगर क्लोज करता है तो 10 times 300 is $3,000 per month, and that is all yours to pocket. And you know what it is? There's no fee, no taxes, no nothing that you'll be paying, or no software fee. और अगर let's say वो client refund भी बाद में मांग लेता है ना, like your coach has to pay you the money for closing that prospect, right? Because तुमने तो अपना काम पूरा किया, you are the one who booked the appointment, so you're gonna get paid regardless. And again, most of the coaches, they also add bonuses too. So let's say उन्होंने तुम्हें अगर कोई goal दिया है कि we need to close 10 people, and if somebody closes 10 or sets me 10 appointments that are successful, I'm gonna add $200 to $500 bonus on top of that. So bonuses are always a thing that happens in this, right? The second way is that you work on a monthly retainer plus commission base, right? So if you're doing a monthly retainer, right, इसमें usually होगा कि let's say you are getting $500 to $1,000 per month, which is guaranteed it's gonna come to you, or $2,000 per month. Then you make commission on top of that, so it's a monthly retainer plus commission on top of that. So this is something that you're gonna be getting, right? That is like your 9 to 5, let's say. But on top of that, your hard work is not gonna be wasted, right? The harder you work, the harder or the more people you close, the more money you're gonna make, and there is no limit to this shit, right? If your coach has a really good month, if your coach is, let's say 3,000 की टिकट है और तुम्हारा कोच अगर let's say 30 लोगों को क्लोज कर लेता है तो $90,000 तुम्हारे कोच ने बना लिए हैं. और let's say अगर तुम्हें रिटेनर पे बांध के उसने 5% पे भी किया है तो 90,000 का 5% कितना होगा? Like I think somewhere around $45,000 right there in your pocket, ठीक है? Plus your $2,000 or $1,000 commission. So by just one client, you are making, let's say, $6,500, right? More than $5,000. And once you become a pro at that, you will have a testimonial working with one client, and then you can get similar clients in a similar niche, which is the business coach niche. Or once you become a pro of this, you can handle multiple clients, right? Same script, same shit.
and then you could be closing for that client as well, which is going to add extra monthly recurring revenue towards your goal, right? Pretty interesting stuff. And I have students, as I've shown you, who are making bank right now, right? Some of the students now are closing $5,000 to $7,000 per month. I'm not kidding, this is real. And now getting started, right? Let me go to section number 5, the exact breakdown of how you're gonna get started, you know, like which niches you can go into and stuff like that. Okay? So step 5 is getting started. So first is obviously you need to, for the first 1 to 2 week, or at least week 1, you need to dive into a niche, right? A certain niche. Riches are in the niches. Remember, it's very, very important, right? If you go into multiple niches, you're gonna f yourself. Okay? Pick one type of business, right? It could be someone who is teaching real estate or is a real estate agent, right? They need to close people, right? They could be fitness coaches, business coaches, mindset coaches. There are hundreds of coaches, right? There could be consultants, or maybe law agencies, right? There could be marketing agencies, AI agencies, any sort of agency, right? It could be million of agencies or thousands of agencies you can look, but choose one, right? Any of the one, like let's say fitness coaches ho gaya, ya koi consultant ho gaya, ya koi marketing agency hogi. Pick one and pick fast, right? And then start doing research on those niches, right? Go to Facebook groups, join Facebook groups, and join the groups that are actually low in numbers, not the ones that are too high in numbers, because that are already full with marketers, right? And appointment setters, and you don't want to be in those groups, right? But you need to go to Facebook groups. You need to look out for Instagram coaches on Instagram search engine. You need to look for them on LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many sources, right? So you find their clients, and I would suggest you to find a client who has at least 5 to 10,000 followers. 10,000 followers is a sweet spot, because at that point they know what they're doing, right? If they have a community set up, okay? And then ye bhi dekhna hai ki are they posting regularly? That's very important, okay? And then you have to make sure that nobody is handling their messages. एंड देन तुम उनको डीएम कर सकते हो, एक क्विक लूम वीडियो बना सकते हो, ठीक है, या छोटी सी अपनी वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करके भेज सकते हो थ्रू इंस्टाग्राम, और सेंडिंग अ वॉइस नोट ऑफ लाइक, हे आई रियली लव योर वर्क एंड व्हाट यू आर डूइंग, एंड आई नो आई एम ब्लास्टिंग यू आउट ऑफ नोवेयर, बट यू नो आई जस्ट वेंट टू योर प्रोफाइल एंड आई सी दैट यू गेट अ लॉट ऑफ डीएम्स. आई कैन हेल्प you handle all of these DMs and book qualified calls, but I don't want to show you anything more without your permission. So if you give me a permission, I will send you a quick 1 to 2 minute video personalized towards you, okay? And then once they give you the permission, you give them a Loom video explaining what you're gonna do, how you're gonna handle those, your script, वगैरह वगैरह. And then start with one client, right? And if you're struggling with client acquisition, do watch my video. It's a long video, ठीक है? यहाँ पे मैंने link लगाया हुआ. Go watch that video on client acquisition. I have detailed everything that I'm talking about, right? But once you get a client, अपना दिल और जान लगा दो उस client के साथ, ठीक है? Like you need to sacrifice your day and night to get the most out of that client, because the more money you make them, the more they will be happy, right? And once you understand the system enough, let's say you work with them for 1 to 2 months, you can start scaling, right? Maybe you can hire people under you who can do the work. Once you have a script that is working, you will give that script to people who you can outsource, and you can build a full agency of DM setters, okay? Now, common mistakes I want you to avoid, which is section number 6. Common mistakes, okay? Very, very important, which is being too salesy. Mistake number 1, being too salesy. And what do I mean by that? Dekho, whenever you're talking to the prospect, okay, like don't bombard people with buy now, limited slots, stuff like that. That shit is of the past, and that never looked good. गर्मी लग रही है तो मैं अपना ये jacket उतार रहा हूँ. But yeah, like you don't need to be pushy. You're not convincing anyone to buy something that they themselves don't want to buy, right? So your nurturing skills should be top notch. You need to double down on the problem, right? Double down on it and highlight the goal, okay, and the results they're gonna get. Like, I know a lot of people, they're like, जब वो शुरू करते हैं ना, और जिनको नहीं पता होता 9 to 5ers वाले जो लोग होते हैं, इनकी mentality होती है, they're like, no, we need to focus on the value, we need to focus on the, you know, the contents of the packages. No, this is not how human psychology works. Human psychology always love simple, stupid, right? So you need to act simple and stupid, and you need to always focus on, जैसे कि funnel है ना, तो you need to focus on top of the funnel, which is the lead magnet, which is identifying the problem, right? And then doubling down on that, ठीक है, doubling down on the problem and then the result that they're gonna get. This is your job. This is what you're gonna do, because people will never take a chance if it gets too complicated, because the more you talk with them about complications, or the worse, more you push, like, you know, or become too salesy, the more they're gonna run away, because obviously, right, उनका वो एक logical brain वाला जो part है ना वो चलने लग जाता है, and that is not something that we want from them. Another thing is mistake is not following up. Like, you cannot just be that person, and I will say this is the most important. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. मर जाओ लेकिन फॉलो अप करो, especially with the client or a prospect that has given you some sort of a response, right? फॉलो अप की सारी गेम है इस ज़माने में. People are too busy in their lives. Nobody has the time. Some people are busy with some arrangements उनकी ज़िंदगी में चल रही हैं. शायद वो अपना सोशल मीडिया इतना नहीं देखते, या फिर शायद उनकी लाइफ में कोई मसला हो गया वगैरह. But you need to constantly follow up. That is the name of the game. Third mistake is very important as well, which is working for cheap clients. ठीक है, working for cheap clients and trying to qualify, अगर अपने client के साथ काम कर रहे हो तो cheap clients उनको ला के दे रहे हो. Don't do that. I know, हम कहते हैं फ्री, जैसे हमारी मेंटेलिटी है ना कि हमें फ्री में कर दो. जो फ्री वाले लोग होते हैं ना, they are not good people to work with, because they are not risk takers and they're just going to be wasting your time and they're not even going to bring results, right? So the clients who are cheap, avoid them, ठीक है, because they're going to be a headache for you. ठीक है, sometimes वो तुम्हारे पैसे भी खा जाते हैं. ठीक है, so really avoid clients who are cheap. And then if you're working with a client, avoid cheap customers. ठीक है, that is very important. आप यहाँ पे charity नहीं चला रहे, आप एक proper उनको solution दे रहे हो to the problem that they have, and that takes a lot of work. You have a team, like your coach has a team, your coach has a proper process to take them through it. The coach is giving time, right? So you want to avoid cheap people altogether, right? Mistake number 4 is very important as well, which is not tracking numbers. You need to track each and everything. Every prospect, you know, you are reaching out to, track. Make a damn Excel sheet, right? In fact, I will drop an Excel sheet below, which you can use to track your prospects. और अगर prospect के साथ काम कर रहे हो, तो फिर उसके लिए कि कौन सी lead से बात चल रही, कौन से नहीं चल रही. Now, I don't want you to be wasting any money on the softwares yet, so just use a good old Excel sheet and track every interaction that you have, and track the number of messages you send. ठीक है, track the number of replies you get, very important, and track the number of calls booked. ठीक है, that is very important. मैं अभी CRM system की तरफ नहीं जा रहा, मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि आप लोग Excel से start करो, because that's very important, right? This is CRM systems, right, is something that you're gonna learn after you have some experience in appointment setting, and then you will have a proper software that will handle all of these things all together, right? But I'm not gonna be confusing you with that, because if you just use the Excel sheet and you track it with all your heart and with all honesty, that will be enough for you to get it started. And now we're on the last step, which is call to action. So let me recap very quickly for you guys, ठीक है? Appointment setting हमने क्या बात की? What is it? Appointment setting is chatting with people plus booking calls, and you can make easily $3,000 to $5,000 per month. I'm not kidding. This you can do it. I see like बच्चे 18 साल के बच्चे हैं, 17-18 साल के 19 साल के बच्चे कर रहे हैं, तो आप 9 to 5 वाले होके कैसे नहीं कर सकते. ठीक है, and the मजे की बात ये है कि you can do this anywhere on your phone. There are softwares that handle this shit, right? ManyChat हो गया, ठीक है, CRM systems like Go High Level हो गए. वो आपके नहीं है, वो आपके जो बंदा है जो आपके साथ काम कर रहा है, client होगा, उनके पास होगा. They will give you access to the messages, right? And then you're going to be having access to the message. You can be sitting on your phone, but I would highly suggest use a laptop or a computer, because when you're in the zone, you're sitting and doing it, it's way much better, right? But again, you can take your laptop anywhere in the world and you can do it. Anywhere on your phone, you're sitting on a couch, right? You don't need any fancy skills. No fancy skills, no degrees, I promise you. Like whatever degree you have in your life, ठीक है, if you get into a certain niche that you're interested in and you want to help that person, you don't need any fancy skills. All you need is to be available, learn quick, and show up every day.
So a lot of commitment is needed, and this is something a lot of people run away from, right? Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, I know how this works, okay, that makes sense, and I want to learn more, then I have something for you. Now, I've put together a complete free training for you in the link down below. So if you click on the link, it's going to take you to that free training, right? And I will tell you something, right? You can take this or leave it, but if you are serious about changing your life, if you really want to make this income, right? If you really want to give the best life to your family, if you want to buy that, dream car for you, if you want to buy that dream home, if you want to buy those fancy things that you always wanted in your life, if you want to give good life to your mother, to your father, if you want to do all of these things, or maybe if you're sitting in Pakistan and India and if you want to earn enough to go outside and live your dreams, this is your chance. I'm telling you, ये आजकल की सबसे ज़्यादा hot चीज़ है, and this is not going to be going out for a while, but if you don't take the chance today, you might lose it forever. The opportunity is here, the skill is learnable, and the money is waiting. So the question is, are you going to take the action, or are you going to just keep scrolling and go and watch another YouTube video? The choice is yours. Go watch the free training. The link is in the description down below. And I'll see you guys over there. And if you are done with that training, you go through the next steps. And also, don't forget to subscribe this channel if you think that I've helped you through this video. And give this video a quick thumbs up ताकि ऐसी आपको और videos भी मेरी recommend हो. And I will really appreciate it if you just comment the word I am ready Musa bhai to take action. And I would love that, to see the enthusiasm down in the comments. And I would love to see you on the other side. So let's make that bread, let's make that money, and let's make our parents proud. I will see you. Take care, guys.